Can you find a decent reissue of this record without breaking the bank? Is it even possible? Well, here's the 2017 US Rhino reissue, one of many controversial jazz pressings in the vinyl community. Some say it's fantastic, some say it's trash. Let's crack this baby open so I can give you my honest opinion. Oh my God. Sweating. Don't act like you don't do that. If you're not playing air sax to Coltrane, you're not doing it right. Man. I actually have not heard this record in a long time. You almost forget how great it is. And then the second you put it on, it's like, damn. Man, Giant Steps is great. Man, Coltrane is great. I hardly need to tell you that Giant Steps is one of the most influential jazz albums of all time. It is John Coltrane's 5th studio album as a leader, and Coltrane's first as a leader on the Atlantic Records label. Sorry, I'm out of breath. It was recorded in 1959 and released in February of 1960. And in 2004, it was one of 50 recordings chosen that year by the Library of Congress to be added to the National Recording Registry. It attained gold record status in 2018, having sold 500,000 copies. That's it? That's crazy. Seems like there should be way more. All right, so let's get into the presentation. Here is the jacket. Very typical, very standard. There's nothing overly special here. I guess some people are a little bit bummed out that the font is not crystal clear. I don't know, man. Rhino really went all out with these paper sleeves. It does come with this insert, which is basically just the front cover and the back cover. I don't know that the font's any better back here, people, but maybe it is, maybe it isn't. It's legible. And then we have the vinyl itself. This is on 180 gram. There is the label, just as you remember it. Okay, so I just put mine on the scale and it's a little bit chunky actually at about 186 grams. So does it even matter? I don't know. Some people say it helps against warping. I don't know if it does anything to the sonics. I'm sure everyone has their own opinion on that, but yeah, 186. So they did not short me on the weight. All right, so let's get into the music on this record. What can I possibly say about the music on here that you don't already know? Nothing. All right, so instead, let me jump right into the pressing. Obviously, the music's amazing on here. You already know that. You're not here for the music. You're here to figure out if you should pull the trigger on this Rhino edition. This record was issued by Rhino in 2017, which just caused half of you to click the back button. But for those remaining viewers, sit tight. You might get some good news. I said might. So full disclosure, Rhino is just one of many companies making records that have divided the vinyl community. But let me be honest with you, I think this is the only Rhino record that I own. Is that right? I used to have a bunch of Rhino CDs when CDs were a thing. But yeah, I think this is the only Rhino I have in the collection. All right, so let me tell you my thoughts of this particular record, of this particular pressing, played through that hi-fi setup and heard through these ears. You see what I did? I'm not telling you every single copy of this pressing is amazing, but I have no idea. So I'm gonna give you my impressions of this record. So this reissue actually gets quite favorable reviews on Discogs, which is why I bought it. There's still some people skeptical about a Rhino reissue, but of the people that bought this record and left reviews on Discogs, the vast majority are positive. To add to the confusion, there are multiple Rhino reissues, so I'll link mine in the comments below so you know exactly which one this is. Even though I have some originals, I think the majority of people are just looking for the nicest affordable pressings available. And it can be a lot of work trying to figure out which pressings those are, or people just want to know which pressings to avoid. Let's get into this so I can tell you exactly what I think. As always, I'll give you my thoughts using my patented 4-step system. Just kidding, it's actually patent pending. Number 1, surface noise. So there is surface noise on this record, particularly on side 1. Side 2 was pretty quiet. Side 1 did have some surface noise. I had the volume cranked, by the way, if you couldn't tell by my little dancing montage. And so, yeah, at that volume, you're going to pick up a little, or you may pick up a little bit of surface noise on your copy. If I gave it another clean, it would be crystal clear. I don't know, but I can tell you this, it was not distracting. You don't notice it during the music at all. At least I didn't. I just noticed it a little bit between the tunes. I only mention it because I'm trying to be as thorough as possible. All right, so the ever evil distortion bug. You'll be happy to know that this pressing has no distortion to speak of. I didn't notice any distortion even in the inner grooves. Some people might. You have hypersensitive hearing. I didn't notice it. So how about warping? Well, as I said, this is a hefty record, and whether that helps to eliminate warping or not, this record does not have any warping. I think you guys saw in the montage, it looks pretty damn flat. Pretty darn flat. Why is warping important? Warping can cause distortion in some cases. If it's bad enough, it can make your record skip. And so that's why we don't want excessive warping. And in this record, we have no warping that my human eyes can detect. But how do you know I even have eyes? Can I be trusted? Visually? I don't know, maybe. All right, and last but certainly not least, we have the sonics. That's what you want to know. How are the sonics on this? Is it dynamic? Is the bass deep and rich? Are the drums nice and punchy? How is John Coltrane's horn? Well, folks, this record did not disappoint. The overall sonics of this record are really nice. I mean, as soon as I drop the needle and you start hearing Coltrane play, I just had a smile on my face because, when you buy a new record, particularly a reissue, and if you're like me, you're sort of like, all right, what are we going to get here? And there's nothing worse than just being disappointed. And I've had my share of those where you're just like, oh man, why does it sound so compressed? Or, oh God, there's distortion on the horn. Like, what a bummer, Not here. Coltrane's horn comes in loud and clear. And as we all know, we get bass, drums, and piano on this record as well. And they all come through nice and clean. And the sound stage is really nice and full. And you didn't have the problem with like instruments competing with each other. You didn't have the problem with certain ones standing out more than others, anything hidden in the mix. No, you hear nothing but great dynamic range from each of the instruments with no distortion. And that is what you want at the end of the day, right? You want a nice, clear soundstage where things feel full, nothing's muffled. And that is exactly what I experienced on this record. Happily, serendipitously. Is that the right word? Hold on. Serendipity, romantic comedy, an hour and 31 minutes. Serendipity, the occurrence and development of events by chance in a happy or beneficial way. Yeah, whatever, I'm using it. So as I said, I chose this Rhino reissue of John Coltrane's Giant Steps because based on my extensive research, I believed it was the best value for the price. And I have to say, I am so relieved that I did. This record sounds incredible. Now people will fight me saying like, hey, that doesn't sound like the original, or this is a better pressing and everything. Great, that's great. Let us know in the comments, what pressing's better than this? Which pressing do you have? Which pressing do you recommend? Did you get a good copy of this or do you hate it? We would love to hear. If you are similar to me and you're just looking for a nice copy that's not gonna break the bank, I can definitely recommend to you this 2017 US Rhino reissue. As I said, there might be some additional confusion just because it looks like Rhino put out multiples of these and some of them apparently aren't that great. So check the link in the description. It will take you right to this reissue. And if you buy it, please let us know what you think. Okay guys, well that's all I got of my review of this 2017 US Rhino edition. Again, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.